for us to transition quarter number 2. We are going to get right into it. Ooh, it's that business time. Oh, Chris, it's that business. Guess who we got? Guess who we got first for the first guest? You ready for it? She goes by.
Let's go.
Melanie. Melanie, what's up? Where you at? Hey.
Mel, what's good? Look at Mel. Energy. Hey, it's Motivational Monday.
You already know how to roll.
Listen, and I appreciate you coming on because time is of an essence. That's my theme. My theme right now for 2021 is I'm focusing on where I'm spending my time. Absolutely. So I'm so glad you're on our show. When we talk about 48 minutes of game and being in quarter number 2, we're going to get you to be able to spit 12 minutes, about 12 minutes strong. So first, I want to know your background. I want people to know your credentials so that then when you're giving information, they'll know exactly what's going on. So tell us a little bit about you.
All right. Melanie Stuckey graduated from the best HBCU out there, Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, period, hands down. And just like any other college student, we out here thinking that we know it all, do all things, buy all these things that make us no money, clothes, cars, all of this, okay? So I'm out here trying to do what I want to do and be the best and look the part. And these people told me I had a 480 credit score. Hello, what I'm going to do with a 480 credit score? So in the midst of that, the market started to crash. So I have gone through adversity. So with that 480 credit score, then I ended up losing my job. I was homeless, fighting all of these things that cause your mind to shift to something else. But we created a focused mindset that said that I'm going to stand fast and keep moving, and God is pushing me. And so I was able to boost my score up from a 480 to a 600 in 2 months. During that time, while I was homeless, I was able to push my score from a 600 all the way to a 750. And it kind of increased from there. So I tell everybody, like, you can do it. With that, I became a mortgage professional. I own my own mortgage shop. So we have offices in Florida and Alabama, and that's my credentials. I'm a boss.
So man, I love that you're a boss. You're a CEO. Let's get that right. So first of all, since you're talking about credit, and I want my viewers, because a lot of people are so uneducated about credit, right? Can you give me maybe a few things that people can start from? I always start from scratch, that they could do if they're watching this show to help build their credit right away.
Perfect. Let me tell you 3 things that's important to do. Number 1 is know your score. It's so many people out here who have no recollection at all of what their score is. So it's important to know your score. I usually pull it from free platforms. That is Credit Karma. Most people don't like you looking at Credit Karma, but you got to know something. So you can go to Credit Karma. There's a source called Credit Adapter. All right. You can go to TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian and pull all 3, all of your scores. You can pull those from there. Usually it's consumer reports versus merchant reports. All right. So it's like a mortgage or merchant reports. So it's going to be off by like 30 to 40 points. But again, you have to start somewhere in knowing that. So that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to get a highlighter and you're going to organize your report by opened, closed, and derogatory accounts. I tell everybody that it's so important to do those things. This will avoid you having to go through all these credit repair agencies. This is what you do. So once you start with your open accounts, you're going to make sure that every open account is less than 30% credit utilization. That's what you want to look for. If you are more than 30% utilization, listen to the trick of how you can get your score up. Because if you're over 30, the point value is about 30 to 35 points. So you want to make sure that if you are over, you're going to take it to about 15 to 20%. So if you're over 30, you're going to take it down to 15 to 20%. That right there is a boost of about 30 points on your credit. Okay? That's like 30 points on open accounts. Then once you're in that platform, in between the 15 and 20, you're going to take it down to about 5%. That's going to boost your score up another 15 points. And you're going to do this in another billing cycle. All right? So that'll be 2 billing cycles. Now, to avoid interest, because most people don't want to pay interest, You need to call your creditors and you need to ask them, when does the billing cycle end, so that you pay the day after. You're going to avoid interest, number one. Number two, you're going to get all the credit benefits of what you did in a billing cycle. So that's how
I think you need to say that, Mel. I think you need to say that again, because I think it's important about the billing cycle and when to pay, so that you can avoid paying the interest, because the interest is that's what you're paying.
That's what you're paying. So you need to call your creditors. Every creditor, every one of them has a different ending billing cycle date, all of them. So sometimes it's usually the 23rd through the 27th. I think that's the time they usually stop by. So you're going to call those people. Once you find out if it ends on the 23rd, that means that on the 24th, I am paying the bill, because on the 23rd, they report it to the bureaus and they're going to tell them you're within this. Remember, you're going to be between that 15, 20, go down to 5%. You're within that time frame. That's what they're going to report, but you're going to avoid interest and you're going to pay it off or whatever you need to do by the next day. Not the same day, but the next day. Okay? Those are like boosters that you have. Another thing that people do incorrectly, because credit is coding. All right, that's all it is. They don't look, they used to go like when you say you're black, white, all these things, it's a code that they put into this. So this is just an actual algorithm code that they're looking at. So that means when I call a creditor, if I have a derogatory account, I'm going to use, I don't know, let's say you have a medical bill and it comes up and it's a derogatory account. If you go and do settled in full, okay, settled in full or paid in full or settled for less, any of that, right? If you do any of those things, there's a coding that says that your score will go down first. It will jump down about 15 to 20 points. So don't let anybody ever tell you that, because it's going to go down first, hands down. So to avoid those things, I always tell people that you're going to get a letter of removal. All right, that's letter of removal. And lenders, or I'm saying lenders, but creditors will do this even in good faith. So that means that if you have done something and you had 1 or 2 lates within a time frame, they will do a good faith letter and still give you a letter of removal. And if it is a derogatory account, something that is current, that just happened, that is 50 points. That is an estimated of 50 points on your credit. 50.
That's crazy. So now with your credit score being up, it's easier for you to start navigating the things that are important. And things are important to you and I are like owning land and property. So once you got your credit score up, what would be the next initial step if I wanted to go into buying a home or if I wanted to buy property?
So if I was a first-time home buyer, what I would do, because this is my slogan, you never buy to live, you buy to invest, okay? Buying is always an investment. It's never like I want to live and get the biggest house. No. It's an investment because you will die.
Never buy to live, always buy to invest. That is a dope slogan. Okay, teach me more. I want to learn more.
It's the way of life. Because again, you will die and you need to be able to leave a good asset, right? Asset wealth building for generations to come, not for it to die when you die. So with that being said, I do strategy buying. If I am a first-time home buyer and I know I'm going to be a really good investor, I'm going to read up on how to be an effective landlord. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to buy properties as a duplex, a triplex, or a quad. Okay, I can come with limited money down and automatically use, if I have renters on those properties already, that means I bought it with renters, I can use the renters' income to help me qualify.
Wow.
So I got a job, I'm using that, I'm already leveraging their money.
You're leveraging their money. Yeah. That's crazy.
And then after that, you stay in the property. I know you have to occupy the property because you don't want to cause any kind of occupancy fraud like some people do. So you want to live in that property for a year or 2 years, whatever it's going to take you to make your next move. And my next move would be into a single family. And then I would use those properties that I just bought, and they're now going to pay me to move into my next property. I have a really good friend that she moved 8 times in 8 years. And by the time she got to her 8th year, she was a millionaire, multi-millionaire at that, because everybody was paying for her moves.
Her moves was major. Her moves was major moves.
No, she out here flipping homes and doing a whole bunch of stuff now. They're living debt free, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I even say that for athletes, you don't have to go in thinking that you have to always put in cash, always do these things. No, there's
let's talk about that, Mel, because my audience is going to be a lot of athletes, and the persona is athletes have a lot of money, but there's a way around using their money.
Absolutely.
Right? So teach me that. Put me on game about. So my guys that are watching right now, guys, listen up. We're going to talk about how you use other people's money, even though you have money.
You got it. So remember I told you, you can always use other renters' money in order to leverage off of yours. But what most athletes use, they use their contracts. Their contracts, they go into any of these banks. They want to buy a property, whether it be their primary, jumbos, other investments. They use the contract that they have to then, now think about this. They don't even have money in their hand yet. They have contracts that they have.
Right.
They take that contract, go and purchase a property that has renters involved in that. So little to nothing down, and all they went in is use the contract. It is crazy how you can do that. Again, that is automatically in the beginning leveraging other people's money to make it work for you.
So you just leverage the contract. Like, look, this is what I got coming. This is what I need. This is how. This is the paper. Let's go. So then, okay, I'm gonna give an example. If I want to buy a single home property, what's the best way of getting either zero or a little down to acquire that home?
Well, when you talk about a single family, at that point, you're looking into, this is my primary residence. The only way to avoid doing that, and again, I'm thinking from a point of an athlete, right?
Right.
All the down payment assistance, all this kind of stuff, you don't qualify for it because they have income limits on those things. So it's not a way like around that, but the minimum you can put down is usually 5% up to $548,000. And then above that is where you get into the jumbo space. Now, if you have, usually runs about 15 to 20%. So it's important, again, brokers are absolutely wonderful, but there's, again, a leverage that you have with bankers, right? So that means your major bankers that have a lot of money, that an athlete, as somebody who knows they're going to come in and do investments, you can negotiate those deals because they are federated. At that point, you start operating on their money because your money will be there. And so, as everybody always knows, that when you put money into a bank, all they're doing is getting money off of your money. Right?
That's why you can't call them and be like, yo, I need to show up. I need 50 grand. They're going to be like, yeah, give us a day notice, 2-day notice.
Because they are developing that interest off of your money. So again, you then have the power and leverage to make decisions. Sit down. I don't care what the rules are. I don't care. Number one, I got credit. And number two, I got money. So I know what your rules say, but let me talk to the people in the back. Let me sit down. And money moves people. Hands down, all day, every day. It moves.
Let's talk about
So you're not going to come if you like being passive when you sit down. That's why I think it's important to always have a plan. I have a plan. I have strategies. So when I go and sit down, I know exactly what I want. I know the mission that I want, and I'm going to get what I want because money is going to move it. Money is going to move. They don't want you to pull your money out. My goodness. Oh my goodness. Mr. Johnson, I don't want you to pull your money out. So I know you don't want to put 20% down. Wait, let me go talk in the back. Like a car dealership. They're going to go. Next thing you know, you put down 10% because you're going to do something else. They have ways that they can do and move people. They might not like me saying it, but I'm just telling you when it comes.
But I think it's good because as you're educating, especially the audience, people are going to be tuning in and they're going to see this and they're going to want to reach out to you. Now for you being the CEO of your company, what are like your fees? Like, how do you work with clients in that regard? Is it an upfront fee or do you get your fees for negotiating a deal for them? How does that work?
The banks pay me. So my clients don't even pay me. They don't touch me at all. The banks pay me, and anybody, I guess this is another gem for you. So I think it's important that people don't come into any situation talking too much. I always be like, no, let the people tell you, and then you come back and tell them something else. Because some people come in and be like, I heard that it's this rate on TV, when you don't even know the people in the back end of a specific rate that is out there. There's a price that's on that back end. So that means if you want a 3.5%, that 3.5% might be paying $10,000 based on your purchase price. So you could shoot yourself in the foot going and telling somebody you want a 3.5%. No, you ask them, what is the best that you can offer me? And then you have 14 days, and it only counts as one hit on your credit to pull as many as you need to compare the two and let the people fight for you. Now
that's a gem. So you say you need 14 days to be able to create competition amongst the lenders.
Absolutely.
And so when you create this competition, do you reach out to other institutions, or how would that work if I want to create this competition? Because anytime there's competition, you get the best value.
Correct. You reach out to other institutions, other mortgage professionals, and then you get what's called a loan estimate or a fee sheet. And so then at that point, you look at those things, and most people get engulfed in all the fees, and they look at the title fees and all of these other things. There's a section, pay attention to this. This is why Chris Johnson has the best platform on YouTube. You look at Section A and Section J, okay? Remember that on any of these loan documents, you look at Section A and Section J. That is the only thing that you should be comparing, because that's the only thing that is negotiable for the banks. Other than that, it's like taxes and fees based on what state you're in and the title or your whoever.
Okay, so before we let you go, where can they find you? How do we contact you? How do we get your information out there?
I am at Melanie the Broker on all social media platforms, and that's even on Clubhouse. I am at Melanie the Broker. That is the best way to get in contact with me, because I answer my DMs. I have a lot of them. People contact me. I always answer. It might even be a day, but I'll answer. I'll get to you.
You get back with us. That's amazing. Melanie, I don't know, we're going to have questions later. So if you head backstage, we would love to have you back up for questions. I'm definitely going to utilize your services. I'll be one of your first people that I can go back and then tell my story.
You got it.
Okay.
I love seeing our Black girls killing it. You know what I'm saying? We flipping houses, we getting credit right, we doing everything we need to do. Melanie came in with the gyms, yeah. But speaking of gyms, we gotta keep on going. We're still quarter number 2, but now you know what I'm saying. We about to bring in somebody who killed it on the court and he killing it in the real estate game. He goes by the name of Terry. Come in.
What up? What up? Hey, pleasure.
What up, T?
Appreciate you having me, Chris. It's always a pleasure.
Listen, it's always a pleasure. It's gonna be tough to follow up Mel though. She's a boy. She's a beast.
I have my notepad. I was taking notes. Melanie always dropping gems, man.
Listen. I was going through T looking at the credit score, and I forgot to ask Mel, what could she do with somebody like myself to have like a credit score of about 900?
Hey, with Melanie, she could definitely get you at 900 credit score.
At 900, Mel, I'm just letting you know I kind of did it right, but I love how she walked it up and walked it all the way through. Well, T, man, is so happy to have you back on the show. And I always look at Terry, guys, as my young entrepreneur. He's my young stud. At 24 years old, he's gaining knowledge. He's in the investment part. He's buying properties. And the one thing that he's done that most people don't do is he got started. So T, I want to talk about how you got started and how you can inspire other people to get started just like you did.
Yeah, so I just started really educating myself on real estate, reading books, listening to podcasts, kind of just speaking to people in the same field as me, and being in my first year playing professional in the NBA G League. I was with the Delaware Bluecoats. I felt like Delaware was the perfect state to get started. Super low capital market. Home prices are relatively low out there. So I was like, man, this is a market where I can really branch off and get my first home. And like Melanie stated, I was able to put 3% down on a conventional loan, which is one of the best loans to get nowadays, and get an owner-occupied loan. fix up my property. And now I've had it over a year, and now I'm able to rent it out. So I'm happy and that's the way I
Wow.
got started. Yeah.
Now, T, I remember you telling me the story. You went to closing with how much money?
Yeah. So with 3% down, my home was worth $180,000. So I had to report to closing with a check around $7,000. But when I was in escrow negotiating the home, there were some safety hazards, things that needed to be fixed. So we negotiated we negotiated with the seller like, hey, either you can fix these issues or you can give us $12,000 so we fix them ourselves. The seller said, countered back at $10,000. I still, hey, whatever, better than nothing. So I went to closing with $7,000, left with the keys and a check for $10,000.
Oh my God. Well, I'll take that deal any day. Any day. That's crazy. That's remarkable too. And you were 23 when you did that.
I was
24 now.
Yep. I was offered on the home at 23. Yep. It was 23. And then obviously I used that to fix up the home. I used, the extra 10,000, all the money I could to, fix up the home, rehab it, and build some equity in the home. And now I believe, I had an offer from a realtor. He wanted to buy it for $285. But I'm more. It's an investment thing. Yeah, exactly.
It's an investment thing, right?
Exactly.
So when you're looking at properties to find, and I think Mel hit it key. She said, look for properties that you want to invest in, not necessarily want to live in, like you want to invest in. What are some of the properties that you're investing in now? I know you got a recent purchase.
Yeah. So now I've been out in California, Los Angeles with Chris. We've been working out hard, and I started to branch into California, see how people investors, how are they profiting out here? It's such an expensive, high capital market, and home values are high. But I looked into Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley area, and come to find out it is a super highly desirable vacation rental area. Home values are lower out there compared to Los Angeles and SoCal. So I told Chris, I said, hey, look, I'm going to acquire some land out here. And I purchased 2 parcels of land, both 2.5 acres. And I'm working on now with architectures, lenders, and we're going to build up to 4 small homes that will be rented out for Airbnb. And the profit that we're going to get from these are going to exceed my mortgage payments and expenses by far. And I think they'll be great investments for the long term.
That's an area that California people go to vacation. So how you have certain places, like people that come from out of state, they try to come into LA and different places, but people that live in California go to Palm Springs, they go to Yucca Valley, they go there, which is crazy on the investment piece. So now, Terry, like leading into it now, I know you have been looking at starting and creating your very first investment firm yourself. So what does that look like, and what type of people are you looking for to become a part of this journey?
So I specialize in finding distressed properties. I've been finding a lot of properties off market. That's how I acquired my first parcel of land. I've been, locking up off market deals and, selling it to investors. And I want me and Chris, our investment firm, to target these off market deals, which have a lot of equity already built into them, purchase them, build them up, if they're distressed properties, bring them to market value, and help other people, investors or people who are trying to get into real estate, to attain these properties, come into real estate with some equity already, and work with us, in attaining these properties. So, we're working with great lenders, we're working with great architects, great professionals in real estate, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go, and man, we're just getting started. So
just getting started. So when you're looking, if we were educating some people, T, what are you looking for in a lender, and how important is it to find the right lender?
Definitely finding a lender, someone who's working with you, someone who knows your current situation. I was able to actually, my realtor referred me to a lender. I got pre-approved fairly quickly, and I kind of let them know, this is my first year out of college, first year playing professional. And what I didn't know was, if you graduate college and you buy a home, you get a benefit of that you're a college graduate
Wow.
purchasing a home, in certain markets, but this was the market in Delaware that I was in. So it was actually beneficial coming right out of college to purchase my home. So that I didn't know that, but my lender actually informed me on that. So kind of help let a lender know all your information. Tell them everything. Tell them, when you graduated, what's your current status, what your status is looking forward. Be open to them, and find someone, we have Melanie. I don't know if you introduced TJ, but they're great people. And I'm sure they have plenty of lenders or themselves who can definitely give good advice and, teach us on how we can educate ourselves and go to good lenders and whatnot.
That's amazing. Look, we got a question from Ricardo. What are some of the books that you read and podcasts that you listen to when you're first trying to get into real estate? So let's start with what books that you read first, T.
So the first two books that I read were the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner. I thought that book was just a great beginner book if you're trying to get into real estate. I read that book in the G League season, and after I read that book, I was like, I can do this. And that was the main thing. It just taught me the ins and outs, and any questions I had, I was able to kind of go to that book for those questions. And it hits the mindset too of why to invest in real estate. Why do you want to get in it, and why it would benefit you. So I thought that was just an incredible book. And then podcasts, the Bigger Pockets podcast. I'm able to hear a lot of people talk about
the Bigger Pockets podcast, right?
Yep, the Bigger Pockets podcast.
That's a really good one.
Yep. And there, you hear a lot of people's stories. People like us that don't come from they're not making $1 million. They're not even making hundreds of thousands of dollars working or anything, but they're able to acquire their first home. So that's just to hear those stories. I go to Chris's workouts, drive 45 minutes, and I'm always listening to a podcast because when I hear someone else's story, it motivates me to go on and buy the next one.
So T, for athletes out there now, this is a very important piece for me because you being a professional athlete, there's always enough time in the day, and there are gaps to where you're a free agent, you're waiting on a team. What would be your advice to give to another athlete into getting started in the real estate?
I would say just go out there, educate yourself on it. Sometimes there's a lot of time for athletes. When you're on the road or traveling, there's a lot of leisure time. I would focus. We would get to the gym at 8 o'clock, work out, watch film, lift, and I'd be home around 2, 3. That whole rest of the day from 3 to 7, if we didn't have a game, I could do whatever I want. So I'm like, you really, a lot of athletes, they look for something to fall onto, look to something else. And I would definitely, there's a lot of leisure time for athletes. And I think that's a great way to using that time to educate themselves on real estate or finances.
And that's something, T, that we talked about even today is maximizing your time. Like I want to put my time into a place that my family, myself, and the people around me can reap the benefits, right? So I don't want to waste my time. Like I don't want to do something that no one can reap a benefit from.
For
sure. And I think that's so important. T, man, it's so good to have you on the show. Let us know where we can find you at for people that have questions. They're trying to get into the real estate game or they want to join that 1% investment firm. How do they get a hold of it?
So me and Chris are almost on Clubhouse every day. If you follow us, I'm Terry Harris on Clubhouse. On Instagram, you can follow me at Terry Harris 15. YouTube, TCash, what's up? And those are all my platforms I'm on.
Dope, Terry, man. You came through with a major gem right now, big dog. You gave me that little college education gem. I get my degree in May, so I'm gonna have to look for deals like that. You feel me?
Got to.
We love to have it on the show. It's time for us to roll into the last quarter. It's gonna be